Hi, in this video we're going to talk about how to find your trigger point. Now we're also going to go through some of the common mistakes that everybody makes if they're treating their own trigger points. Now we're going to use the forearm as an example. Now you can use this in any wide variety of body parts, but this is a little bit more simple to use the forearm to give you a good demonstration. Now when you find a trigger point, all you're basically doing is you're poking around your muscle until you find the tender spot. Now when you find the spot, you want to hold it there for a few seconds and seeing if that pain is going to start disappearing. And that is a trigger point. Now don't try to press in too hard, because what's going to end up happening is that if you hit a spot, you're going to start tensing up if you're hitting it too hard. A lot of people want to hit it hard because it actually feels good. But don't go there, because it's going to give you a little bit more of a bruise feeling the next day, and you might not want to do this again. So as soon as you hit it, you don't want to be tensing up. Now as you're hitting the spot, you also want to be careful if you're going to get any radiation of pain going to other areas. Now 90% of the time, that's usually due to a trigger point. But if the pain is more of an electric shock, that's usually a nerve. And again, I find that 90% of the time people don't do that. But if you ever do get into that more of electrical specific numbness type of feeling, then I want you to stop. Another thing you have to realize is with trigger points, as soon as you find that spot and it relieves, everybody always gives up. There's a lot more trigger points in that area. So when you hit that spot and it relieves, I want you to kind of go more of a circular pattern right around that spot, and then extend that circular pattern more outwards. And what you're going to do is you're going to start to notice you're going to find a lot more spots that you didn't think you had. And then again, once you find all those areas, we can go wider and wider until we start going down from that muscle. And then what we can do is we can go up from that muscle and go to other points. Now, one of the things that I see is people may have pain in this area, and they'll start to realize they got a spot up here that's actually referring the pain to this area. So again, guys, it's all about finding the spots in a wide variety of different areas. Never stick to the spot where you're getting the pain. You have to understand that trigger points can be activated further away from that area. Another interesting thing is a lot of my patients come in with, let's say, pain in their right forearm. Their left forearm ends up having more pain. So always, if you're hitting one spot on one side of the body, go to the other side and start digging into that spot. And you'll start to find that there may be some painful spots there that you may need to address. Now, what kind of things can you use to help with trigger points? You can use anything from a trigger point ball and a golf ball, to cane-shaped tools, to an umbrella lying around the house, to a foam roller and a muscle wizard. Now, if I'm going to be using my fingers, for example, in the front of my neck, I'm finding out that I can actually use my fingers pretty effectively. Now, if I'm going to be using hitting trigger points in my shoulder area, I find that the muscle wizard is usually probably the best way to go. Trigger points for pain in the mid-back, I'm finding it's like a trigger point ball or a cane-shaped tool is usually pretty effective there. So at the end of the day, there's not going to be one tool that's going to be the best for everybody, but you got to be able to find out which tool is going to be right for you. And again, when you're starting to use trigger points and you're trying to find them yourself, follow the things I've just talked about and avoid some of those common mistakes. And to learn more about trigger points, you can go to musclewizard.net, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we're going to have a lot more videos there to help you get out of your trigger point pain. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next video.